about it.
I mean, Trump has absolutely flipped the political spectrum. That's what I was trying to tell you,
right?
Zion.
Mass homelessness in the United States.
Why do you think that Liz Cheney and
housing oasis by
Dick Cheney and these neocons are supporting
there are jobs Americans
Kamala Harris?
Right. And so the solution to that problem
I grew up
is
a
to
Democrat.
raise wages for working people to get more of them into the labor force.
And I still consider, I'm a registered Republican now, but I still consider
to like the idea of American democracy, right? Small D American democracy.
Bush
Thomas
to be
Jefferson,
one of the worst, certainly the worst president in my lifetime, and one of the worst presidents in history.
Commonality across citizens, right?
And Dick Cheney was his VP and probably pulling a lot of the strings.
Whether you were a worker or a business owner or a farmer or a farm hand, they wanted some similarity across all American classes.
It's insane.
If you have a
we've
permanent
got
class of
Liz
low-wage
Cheney
serfs,
and Dick Cheney
English,
supporting Kamala Harris.
the
What does that say
ethos
about
that makes our democracy
the Democratic
possible
Party?
in the first place? These people don't care because they want the cheap labor.
The Democratic Party used to be the party of free speech, and now they're the party of censorship.
As a financial
she's a neocon, and the Democrats are neocons, and Trump is not.
Be that. Right, American citizenship cannot just.
So
be
I mean,
a bunch of people
you can define
who,
bipartisan.
Work and make financial transactions with one another. You don't go and fight wars.
There's a reality in which,
like, the guy down the street makes a lot of money trading derivatives on Wall Street. Right? You go and
but
fight wars.
There is the reality, the undeniable
if you have
fact
that your leaders are only going to send you to fight a war when they have to.
The Republican Party of Bush is not the Republican Party of
all over the world, all over Europe.
Trump, and
globalization,
the Republican Party of Trump
unevenly distributed, to say the least. You have a class of people that are, many of them own assets, and they've seen the
much
value of those assets increase.
less pro-war than
invested in the
Democratic Party.
And they're incredibly happy with the freedom to move capital around the world and make lots and lots of money. But the citizens
Can we agree on that?
countries that they live, their standards of living have been lowered and lowered and lowered. And this is not, it's not only America, it's this financial architecture that seems to be replacing people's cultures, histories, and idea of what a nation is.
Yeah, and the real economy too, right? We used to make stuff, and now we're trading derivatives and shipping dollars overseas, but also shipping assets overseas, where we used to make that stuff in the United States. I mean, crazy statistic. What do you think the life premium for having a bachelor's degree is in this country? In other words, if you have a bachelor's degree, how much longer do you live than a person without a bachelor's degree?
10 years?
7 years.
Wow.
7 years. You live 7 years longer for having gone to college in the United States of America. And you put this well. The way that I would put it is globalization, it's been very good for rich people in rich countries, and it's been very good for poor people in poor countries.
Right.
It's been extraordinarily bad.
So, I mean, I don't know how you're defining bipartisan.
Right. And in some ways, the whole Donald Trump movement is a rebellion against.
Okay, let's just take this.
Okay, well, some people have benefited from this. Like, some people benefited when my steel mill, the steel mill that employed my grandfather for 40 years, when it went from 10,000 jobs to 1,800 jobs, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't the people that I grew up around, and it wasn't our families, and it wasn't the moms and dads who got divorced because the dad. Usually, but sometimes
the Overton window has been shifting to the right, you think?
Middle class wage. I mean, again, Republicans are like, we're supposed to be the party of family and of family
on certain.
values.
I think it's both. I think it's been shifting right on certain things and left on other things.
Right. That's
it's
not,
and that's. I think that's true about Trump as a politician as well. Is that he's
since the last 40 years.
But
he is. You said he's not bipartisan, but I think there's a definition of bipartisanship that he definitely
isn't it better for
meets.
them to rent? Isn't it better for them to take Ubers and have small little jobs instead of one big one? I think it's. I have friends that do DoorDash, Uber Eats, Uber, Lyft, and they rent and they really like it because they can get high a lot. Isn't that a better country than having a family and? Aren't people happy?
Because the Republican, the political spectrum is completely shifted, and what you would have called right in the past. So he has no time, right?
A dream or a podcast or a job delivering food. Isn't that better?
Look, clearly, the most fulfilling life.
Yeah.
Is to watch Netflix all day and get high all the time.
That's right.
To be clear, I want to make sure that's clearly the most important.
Yeah.
But I think the second most fulfilling life is to have a family and participate in your community. And
it's not. Look, the Overton window has shifted. Certainly, Trump has shifted the Overton window dramatically.
Okay.